A book known as the Gospel of Philip existed long ago. The book discussed topics that would undoubtedly unnerve the church, such as the idea of humans becoming similar to God, the understanding of deep secrets of the universe, and even the notion that Jesus had a special relationship with Mary Magdalene. The church feared that if people knew this, it would destroy their power. So they hid it away, hoping no one would ever find it. But guess what? Secrets have a way of coming out. Now we have this powerful text back in our hands, and it's ready to reveal its shocking truths. The church wanted to stay in control, and the best way to do that was to keep us thinking we're small and powerless. But these Gospels say that's not true. You're not just a tiny speck in a giant universe. You're powerful, important, and capable of amazing things. They've built a whole system to keep us in the dark, but now the truth is coming out. The concealment of this gospel stemmed from its daring revelation that the divine resides within each of us. We learn to obey rules, submit to authority, and never question them from the moment we are born. But what if all those rules were just chains holding us back? To understand this, we need to go back to the early centuries of Christianity, around the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD, when these texts were circulating. There was division in the Christian world back then. On one side, you had the Orthodox Church, which was building a unified set of beliefs and rules. They wanted everyone to follow the same teachings, with the church as the only gateway to understanding God. On the other side, there were the Gnostics, who believed something totally different, that the divine was not something outside of us, but something that existed within each of us. This idea was radical and completely shook the foundations of what the church was trying to establish. The church leaders knew that if people started believing they didn't need priests or a church to connect with God, they would lose control. Bishop Athanasius of Alexandria issued a famous letter in 367 AD listing the 27 books of the New Testament we know today and specifically ordering the destruction of all other texts. This included the Gospel of Philip, which was considered heretical because it suggested that humans could reach a state of divinity similar to Christ's. Now imagine a time when people couldn't read the Bible for themselves. Everything they knew about God came from the church. The church was like a giant gatekeeper, controlling who got to know what. They preached that God was far away, almost unreachable, and that only by following the church's rules could people hope to connect with the divine. But this gospel said the exact opposite, that every person has the potential to become like Christ, to achieve a higher state of consciousness, and even to see themselves as one with God. This wasn't just a small disagreement, it was a complete clash of beliefs. The church taught that individuals were inherently sinful and required the church's guidance for salvation. But the Gnostics, like those who followed the gospel, believed that people weren't broken or sinful. Instead, they were divine beings trapped in a material world, capable of awakening to a higher reality. One of this gospel's most shocking claims is becoming Christ. The text says things like, "You saw the Spirit, you became Spirit. You saw Christ, you became Christ." This does not imply that you transform into Jesus, but rather that you attain a level of comprehension and existence where you fully connect to the divine, just as Jesus did. This idea would have been dangerous to the church, which believed Jesus was God's only Son, and no one could equal him. The sands of Egypt concealed these controversial texts. The discovery of a complete collection of these lost Gospels took place in Nag Hammadi in 1945. This discovery was like finding a time capsule that revealed what the church didn't want anyone to see. One of these texts, the Gospel of Philip, provided a glimpse into a nearly erased version of Christianity from history. But now we know, and with this knowledge comes power. The church wanted to keep people thinking they were small and needed a mediator to reach God. But the Gospel of Philip tells us that we're not small at all. We are powerful beings, capable of extraordinary things. And this isn't just some ancient idea. Modern science and psychology are starting to catch up, suggesting that our consciousness has far more potential than we've ever imagined. Imagine that you consist of two distinct parts. the everyday self that attends school, engages in social activities with friends, or spends time with family. The other part is a deeper, more spiritual version of you that holds incredible potential. The problem is, these two parts don't always work together. The ancient texts we're talking about suggest that when these parts are separate, you're not living up to your true power, but when they come together, when you unite them, you unlock something truly amazing. This idea of merging opposites isn't just about spiritual beliefs. Almost every aspect of our lives reflects this idea. Think about it like this. Your brain has two sides, right? The left side helps you think logically, like when you do math or solve problems. The right side is more creative, helping you draw, dream, or imagine. When both sides work together, you can do incredible things. Your mind is less powerful if you only use one side. This gospel talks about this kind of unity on a much deeper level. It uses the metaphor of masculine and feminine energies, but don't let the terms confuse you. It's not just about being a boy or a girl. In this context, masculine energy is about action, logic, and strength, while feminine energy represents intuition, compassion, and creativity. Every person, no matter who they are, has both of these energies inside them. The problem is that society often pushes us to lean into one energy more than the other. For example, society often encourages boys to be tough and hide their emotions, while it may encourage girls to be more caring and gentle. But what if being truly powerful means embracing both sides? That's what this gospel suggests. It's like being a superhero who has to balance both physical strength and emotional intelligence to really succeed. The relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene symbolizes this balance in the text. The gospel describes their connection as a perfect unity, where neither one is above the other, and both bring something unique and essential to the relationship. Rather than just being partners, they teach us how to integrate these opposing forces within ourselves to become whole. People say that achieving this inner balance elevates us to a higher state of consciousness. That means you start to see the world in a completely new way. You realize that you're not just a person going through the motions of life. You're a part of something much bigger, and your thoughts, feelings, and actions have a powerful impact. Think of it like tuning a musical instrument. If the strings are too tight or too loose, the music doesn't sound right. However, achieving balance results in a beautiful and harmonious sound. The same goes for us. We can think clearly, feel deeply, and connect meaningfully with others when we balance our logical and emotional sides. We become more than just the sum of our parts. We become whole, complete, and incredibly powerful. But achieving this balance isn't easy. We must challenge our ingrained beliefs about our identity and behavior. It means looking at our fears, our strengths, and even the parts of ourselves we don't like, and accepting them all. It's about understanding that just like day and night, light and shadow, these opposite forces are all necessary parts of who we are. Once you start to integrate these energies, amazing things happen. You might find yourself feeling more confident, more creative, and more in control of your life. You see possibilities where before there were only obstacles. You begin to understand yourself and others on a much deeper level. In the ancient world, especially among the Gnostics, there was a strong belief that the material world was a sort of illusion or distraction. They saw it as something that could trap us, making us forget our true spiritual nature. This is why the church found these teachings so dangerous. They didn't want people thinking they didn't need material things or the church itself to find meaning in life. After all, if you hold the belief that your true power originates from within rather than from your possessions or external influences, you become much more difficult to manipulate. Here's an example the gospel uses. It talks about people seeing the sun, the sky, and the earth, but not understanding them because they're only seeing with their physical eyes. It's like looking at a beautiful painting but not knowing the story behind it or the emotions that inspired it. The gospel says that to truly know something, you have to become like it. If you see the Spirit, you become the Spirit. If you understand Christ, you become like Christ. This is about moving beyond just looking at life and actually living it from a deeper, more aware state. In our dreams, things can feel very real, even though they aren't. We might feel scared, happy, or confused, but when we wake up, we realize it was all just a dream. This gospel is saying that our daily lives are a bit like that. We get caught up in things that seem super important, like grades, money, or social status, but those are just surface-level things. The real us is something much deeper, something that doesn't change, even when everything around us does. But this isn't saying the material world is bad or useless. Instead, it's like a tool, a way for us to experience, learn, and grow. It's like playing a game. You know it's not real in the ultimate sense, but what you do in the game can teach you a lot about yourself and how you handle challenges. Similarly, the experiences we have in our material lives can help us grow spiritually if we're paying attention. This brings us to an important idea: balance. We should not completely disregard or lose ourselves in the material world. The goal is to live with one foot in each reality, to handle the daily stuff like school and work, while also remembering that we're part of something much bigger and more lasting. Understanding that the material world is just one part of the story allows us to make choices based on understanding and purpose, rather than fear or desire. Here's why this matters so much. If you only focus on the material world, it's easy to get stuck in cycles of stress, fear, and frustration. We end up chasing things that don't really make us happy, like trying to get more likes on social media or buying the newest gadget. But when you see the bigger picture, those things lose their grip on you. You start to realize that your worth isn't tied to what you have or what other people think of you, but to who you are on the inside. The Gospel of Philip tells us that when we recognize our spiritual nature, our true, unchanging self, we gain a freedom that the material world can't offer. It's not about rejecting the physical world, but about seeing it for what it is, a place where we can practice, learn, and grow into our fullest selves. It's like being in a play, knowing your role and enjoying it, but always remembering that the real you is so much more than just the character you're playing. Understanding this balance between the material and spiritual doesn't just change how you see the world, it changes how you live in it. And that's the kind of transformation the church was afraid of. Because people who see beyond the surface can't be easily controlled or manipulated. They're free. And that kind of freedom is what the gospel wanted us all to find. From the beginning, we've seen that this ancient text wasn't just talking about historical events or religious rituals. It was offering a revolutionary perspective on life itself, a perspective that says, you are much more than just a person going through the motions. You have a powerful divine essence within you, and you're capable of experiencing a reality far beyond what most people ever realize. But why does this matter so much? Because knowing this changes everything. It's like living your whole life in a small room, believing that's all there is, and then suddenly discovering a door that leads to a vast, incredible world outside. Once you step through that door, you can never go back to the way things were. You start to see that the limitations and fears you once had don't really hold any power over you. The more you explore this inner truth, the more you break free from the chains that have held you back. This is what the church was afraid of. They wanted to keep that door shut because people who know their own power can't be controlled. People who understand that they have direct access to the divine don't need middlemen to tell them how to live or what to believe. That's why this gospel and other texts like it were hidden away for so long. They offer a glimpse into a reality where every person has the potential to connect deeply with the universe and understand the mysteries of existence for themselves. It's one thing to learn about these ideas, but it's another to live them. It means questioning everything you've been told about what's possible and daring to explore your own consciousness and spirituality. It's about realizing that the answers aren't out there somewhere. They're inside you, waiting to be discovered. If you're enjoying this journey and want to support more content like this, consider sending a super thanks. By doing so, you're helping to keep these eye-opening discussions going, diving deeper into hidden truths and exploring new perspectives. The challenge is that it's not always easy. We're surrounded by messages telling us to focus on the material world, on success, possessions, and appearances. It's easy to get distracted and forget that there's so much more to us than meets the eye. But every time you choose to look within, to seek your own truth, you're taking a step closer to that hidden power that the gospel talks about. And that's where real change begins. Imagine a world where more and more people start to wake up to this truth, where instead of feeling small and powerless, we begin to see ourselves as creators of our own reality, where we don't just follow the rules, but understand the deeper reasons behind them and choose our path with wisdom and courage. This is the kind of transformation that can change not just individual lives, but the whole world. The truth has a way of coming to light, no matter how long it's been hidden, and now that you've glimpsed this incredible knowledge, you have the power to explore it further, to question and to grow. You don't have to accept what you've been told just because it's what everyone else believes. You don't have to live within the limits set by others. You are far more than you realize, full of potential, creativity, and a connection to something far greater than the physical world we see around us. Take this as your invitation to step beyond the ordinary and into a life of deeper meaning and understanding. The journey isn't always easy, but it's the most rewarding path you'll ever walk. The secrets of the universe are waiting for those who dare to look beyond the surface, and now that seeker is you. Thanks for watching. Be part of our community by subscribing to this channel.